As with every Nintendo Direct, there's going to be some highlights and there's going to be some lowlights, and that Direct did not break that mold. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the Direct and see what went right and what went wrong with the wins and fails of the Nintendo Direct. And wait till the end, because I'm going to give it the official Switch-Stop Direct rating and compare it to the other Directs we've had in the past. All right, let's get into the wins and fails. Starting off with the win, Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games on Nintendo Switch Online was some of the most unexpected announcements for the entire Direct. Firstly, we got to see the Game Boy Online service, and I'd say all of those games, besides one I'll talk about later, were everything you could have asked for. You got the Super Mario Land 2, you got Link's Awakening, you got Metroid 2 Return of Samus, you got Wario Land, basically everything you'd expect in a base Game Boy Online service. And then they go on to show us Game Boy Advance. You get Minish Cap, you get Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, you get Mario Kart Super Circuit, which, I don't think anybody's gonna play because we have 8 Deluxe and 64 on here, but if you wanna play online with your friends with the second worst Mario Kart game in the series, go right ahead. But it's cool that we're getting it at least. But what I think was the most interesting thing to come out from the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance announcement is that the base Game Boy will be on the base Nintendo Switch Online service, which at this point expected everything to just be on the expansion pass, but it's interesting that we're still getting new services on the base Nintendo Switch Online. Now, Game Boy Advance will be on the expansion pass, and basically at this point, I think it's worth it. At the beginning, it was like, okay, we got N64, we've got the Animal Crossing DLC, and then we've got Genesis. At that point, it wasn't, in my mind, worth it. Now, I think it's got everything I want. Really, I think with Game Boy Advance, with N64, with all the DLC you're getting, now to be fair, it's a subscription of those DLCs, so you don't get it if you don't renew. But in my mind, I think it's worth it to play the original 3 Mario parties, so I think I'm actually gonna go buy it. Now a fail from the Direct was the fact that we didn't get any Pokemon games on the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance. I've gotta expect they gotta show up at some point. Maybe they're saving it for a Pokemon Presents, because that's really the only thing I can think of. They want to save it for a Pokemon announcement, like an official Pokemon announcement. When you think about Game Boy, you think about Pokemon. It's so integral with the Game Boy brand, and not having it at the launch of the Game Boy service is a little bit frustrating, but but what can you expect from Nintendo? They like drawing things out as long as possible, so I'd expect Pokemon probably 2024 on Game Boy Online. Now back to another win. That Mario Kart Wave 4 trailer blew my mind. I don't know why I didn't think about this, but we get new characters. If you actually go read online, we're getting a new character in the last 3 waves. That is insane. And who knows, we may get even more. But the fact that we're getting Birdo and potentially 2 more characters coming to Mario Kart is so cool. We put out videos in the past, everybody called us crazy, but sometimes crazy is what crazy does, and Nintendo's crazy, so. But that wasn't even the coolest part. Yoshi's Island as its own track, I think this was leaked a few days or weeks ago, but it's cool that we're getting tracks based on games, and that makes me think in the upcoming pack, we may get more tracks based on actual games rather than retro tracks. Because if you think about it, there's so many Mario series that I think would be perfect in Mario Kart. Mario Odyssey racing through New Donk City would be really sick, even though that might be a little bit too close to New York Minute. But there's so many city tracks that it's like those all blend together in my mind. You've got Mario Galaxy, which I think would be even cooler. Again, maybe similar to Rainbow Road, but also it's Galaxy, they can figure something out. But nevertheless, I think this opens up the possibility for new, interesting tracks that could be based on other games. And I was blown away by that trailer. But now to another fail, there was not really much Mario.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
Now, I just said Mario Kart, but everybody needs to understand when I say no Mario, I'm not talking about no Mario news. I'm not talking about Mario Sports news or even Mario Rabbids news like some people on Twitter think. I'm talking about mainline Mario, okay? Mainline Mario. There was no 3D Mario, there's no 2D Mario. And I know you guys are probably thinking, but Mac, there's so much Mario stuff going on right now. You got the Mario movie, and you got Super Nintendo World, and you've got the Mario Kart Booster Course Pass. I really I don't care. One of those is a game I'm interested in playing. The other 2 aren't even games. I'm talking about 2D and 3D Mario. We haven't gotten a 2D Mario game in, what is it? It was 2011, was it? 2011? Here, let me look this up real quickly. Yeah, that came out in 2012? 2012. Okay, so it is 11 years since the last 2D Mario, if you don't count Mario Maker, which I don't. And then it's been 6 years, holy shit, it's 6 years now since Mario Odyssey. And the longest hiatus between 3D Mario games was actually Mario 64 to Sunshine from 96 to 2002. You know, if we don't get it announced this year, when is it gonna happen? I think the Switch probably has 2 or 3 more years before they give us an upgrade. And, you know, they're probably just gonna hold it off till the next system, in my opinion, if we don't get it this year. So, you know, I'm kind of nervous that we're going on a bit of a Mario hiatus here, and I know I'll probably get cringed in the comments for saying that, but it's the truth, man. And the fact that we don't have anything. There's there's nothing to eat. There's nothing for us to eat. What are they cooking? Moving on to another win to, you know, brighten our mood. Tears of the Kingdom looks phenomenal. Ganon's voice acting, anytime they give us a cutscene in Tears of the Kingdom, it brings chills to me. I literally, Breath of the Wild is by far my favorite game of all time, and I'm not really into, you know, those kind of games. I'm more into like the, you know, the cutesy Marios and the Kirbys and the Yoshis of the world. But damn, this game, it looks scary and it looks phenomenal, okay? I honestly didn't really need to see a new trailer because I kind of want to go in the game blind, and I would have rathered a better announcement as the final announcement. But nonetheless, seeing the Blood Moon take advantage of the bokoblins and all the other creatures, that there's so much to explore with this game. I know it's gonna be on the same map, but like that map was already so expansive that if you just add like more to it, I think Tears of the Kingdom it's gonna be game of the year 100%, and man, I'm so excited to play it when it comes out in May. But something I'm not excited about is paying $70 for it. This wasn't actually in the direct, but I think here, one of them, our editor Kagan, he sent me a link earlier today. Here, let me take a look at it. Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom on the eShop is priced at $70, which, bro, I don't know how I feel about that, if I'm being completely honest. Like, is that going to be the new normal with the Nintendo games? Or are they going the Sony PlayStation 5 route where things are $70? Bro, I guess inflation, you could call inflation, but in my mind, like, games have been $60 since I've been paying for them. And it's kind of making me nervous that I'm going to have to be paying higher prices for these kind of games. But, you know, I don't know. I got nothing else to say about that. So let's go back to another win. Metroid Prime Remaster. Okay, this one absolutely came out of nowhere. I kind of expected a Metroid Prime trilogy to drop, but a remaster was kind of interesting. But the most interesting part about this entire thing is that it was shadow dropped. Since when do they shadow drop those kind of games? Excuse me, but it's like, it's so baffling. It doesn't even make sense to me. Like, there was no build-up, here's Metroid Prime Remaster. And, you know, maybe I'm being a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, but why are they trying to release this game so quickly? It's because Metroid Prime 4 is coming out this year. I know, a little bit crazy, a little bit kooky, but why would they shadow drop it like that? You know, like, they could have just like held on to it, and like, I think it's weird to shadow drop this, and the only reason I can think they would shadow drop it is to have enough space between Prime Remaster coming out and Prime 4 that it builds up momentum for Prime 4 to come out as the big holiday game, because we still don't know what their big holiday game is. Tears of the Kingdom, it comes out in May. Pikmin 4, it comes out in July. Like, we'll get into Pikmin in a second, but Prime Remaster shadow dropping today, it really leads me to believe that Metroid Prime 4 is coming out soon. Maybe not at the end of this year, but it's coming out in the next 2 years, I think, for sure. Now, one of the most, like, mind-boggling things to come from this direct was the Splatoon DLC. What the hell was that? Okay, excuse my language, but, like, what was that? So excited to see Inkopolis, don't get me wrong, but is it just, like, another hub? Like, what makes it any different from being around Splatsville? Or you're just paying to look around Inkopolis instead? Like, I was so confused by that. Like, what, maybe I'm missing something, but I was so confused by that. And the wave 2 of it, the side order, that looks neat. Again, I was kind of hoping it wasn't a single-player campaign, because in my opinion, I'm kind of tired of single-player campaigns on Splatoon. I want new modes. I want a new Anarchy mode, or I want a new mode like Salmon Run, like a, you know, Battle Royale, or just literally anything multiplayer, because Splatoon for me is a multiplayer game. I do the single player campaigns, they're fun, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, bro. Like, I was so confused by that announcement of Inkopolis being the Wave 1. I don't know, that really confused me if I'm being honest. And then finally, the last win of the Nintendo Direct was the Pikmin 4 trailer at the very beginning. My thoughts coming into Pikmin in Pikmin 4 was that, okay, the Pikmin fans, they're gonna enjoy it. I'm sold on this game. I'm being completely honest, like, it's gonna get Switch effect. If you don't know what the Switch effect is, basically any series that is like a medium-sized series for Nintendo skyrockets, absolutely goes to the moon when it gets released on the Switch. You saw it with Animal Crossing. You saw it with Splatoon. I know Splatoon was pretty big on the Wii U, but it entirely skyrocketed on Nintendo Switch, and you can't tell me anything different. Pikmin, I think, has the possibility to become that. It's a cozy game, you know, it's Pikmin, but like, I don't know, you got the cute dog Pikmin, you got the frozen Pikmin. I think Pikmin 4 has true potential to become one of Nintendo's biggest series, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, like, that may be a crazy take, but the Pikmin 4 trailer today really got me interested in this game. Whatever, I think Pikmin 4 was an absolute W for Nintendo, but something that Nintendo lacked in this Direct and has really been lacking for like the past few years is just their lack of personality. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Takanashi, I think he does a swell job. But there's just something different about these Directs. They don't have Reggie, you know, we don't have Iwata anymore. I just feel like the heart of Nintendo, it was in those faces, but I don't know. It's making me nervous that Nintendo's becoming a corporate robot company when it used to be like the heart and soul of the gaming community. And you know, yeah, that's kind of really all I had to say about that. But finally, let's take a look at the Switch.top Nintendo Direct ratings. And in my opinion, today's Direct, and it was good. It was good, but it was missing the one thing to put it over the top. You know, there wasn't really any game announcements. When you just look at it, there was nothing that we came into this that we didn't already know existed. They were either expansions, games we know are coming out. Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, we know those games exist. Metroid Prime Remaster. There was not a new main IP Nintendo announcement. And in my opinion, that's the one thing that's holding this Direct back. While I do think it is an above average Direct, I don't think it has enough to put it over the top. So in my opinion, this Direct gets a B-. Thanks everybody for watching this video. If you enjoyed this one, please go watch this video right here. You're gonna love it. Just trust me. This is one of the best videos we've ever put out. Maybe the best video on YouTube. So go click it right now. Okay, goodbye.